Good morning. It is Friday, September the 13th, and it's time for another vlog. For those who are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Kat, and I do an around the world series vlog, and so if you haven't seen the other videos, I would highly recommend to go ahead and start with the first one, and that kind of explains a little bit more about this vlog. But for those who have been here, I think I'm gonna do something a little different as far as like adding something new. And I just kind of felt this morning I wanted to share something. So I actually want to start some of these vlogs incorporating a little bit more of my morning routine. And what I mean by that is like my devotional time. I don't normally do devotional time because I feel that that's more of like a sacred kind of quiet time. But I have been encouraged by many others who share what they have been reading. And so I did do my devotional earlier, and I am currently working through the Psalms. And the Psalms have been very helpful, let's say. And I used to not like to read the Psalms. That was just not a book of the Bible that I felt like at the time I could relate to, which I feel that now reading it as I'm older, how much I could relate to the Psalms, but that's okay. Better now than ever. And so I've been going through it, and I just wanted to start off this video reading what I read today. I hope that this will encourage some out there. So let's go ahead and start the video off with Psalm 4. And mine says, "The safety of the faithful." And this is to the chief musician with string instruments, a psalm of David. "Hear me when I cry, O God of my righteousness. You have relieved me in my distress. Have mercy on me and hear my prayer. How long, O you sons of men, will you turn my glory to shame? How long will you love worthlessness and seek falsehood?" Selah, which means like pause. And then you go to the next verses. "But know that the Lord has set apart for himself him who is godly. The Lord will hear when I call to him. Be angry and do not sin. Meditate within your heart on your bed and be still." Selah. "Offer the sacrifices of righteousness and put your trust in the Lord. There are many who say, 'Who will show us any good?' Lord, lift up the light of your countenance upon us. You have put gladness in my heart, more than in the season that their grain and wine increased. I will both lie down in peace and sleep. For you alone, O Lord, make me dwell in safety." So I did highlight a lot in there, and there's a lot to dissect. And I read with the pauses because I feel like that was very important to read each section up to the pause and then reflect on the section before. This morning, when I was doing the devotional, my husband and I had like a prayer time because we were feeling very discouraged, where we have been waiting and waiting for the promises of God to come through. And it came to a point to talk about how maybe we heard wrong, and maybe what we think is what God was promising us wasn't actually him, but more what we really wanted. So it was a very discouraging morning at first, and we prayed about it. He went to work, and so I decided to go ahead and open up my Bible app, and another psalm showed up, and it was Psalm 27:14, and that one, it talks about waiting on the Lord. And that was encouraging. And then I read this, and the verse popped out: "Be angry and do not sin. Meditate within your heart on your bed and be still." And I find myself sometimes when I am angry that I do sin in just my thoughts, and I complain and I get upset, and to reflect on that and to repent of that, because like a complaining spirit is something that I do not want, and I know that that's something I've struggled with. And sometimes I don't even realize that I'm complaining until midway through, and that's not a life that I want to live. And that verse kind of like reminded me, in this waiting that we are doing as we're seeking God and trusting in his promises, also check my heart and see if my heart is in that complaining spirit. Not saying that he's going to withhold things, but rather during this time of waiting and growth, is that going to hinder some of that growth that he may be wanting to do in us? I was just encouraged and kind of wanted to even share a little bit out there. I know initially when I started this channel, I wanted to share good content books out there. I was seeking good Christian fiction or just clean historical fiction, clean books out there, because there's a lot of books that have all this stuff in it. And so it was hard for me to find good suggestions. And then I slowly started seeing this community being built, and I wanted to be a part of it. That was the reason why I started my channel. And then as it continued to grow, I was really putting it up to the Lord, but I was like, okay, I want to be a light here on BookTube. And so I just wanted to share that. That's all I'm going to say right now. And I'm going to pick a country out of this jar. I'm just going to mix it a little bit, guys, because I feel like in the last vlog we had like 2 C's, and I'm trying not to get like the same, like try not to get countries that are pretty similar, even though those weren't really similar, but they were both C's. So okay, what is this? Ooh, Portugal. Okay, fun fact, my mother's side actually came from Portugal. My mother's grandfather actually was first generation coming from Portugal. So I will be back in a moment. Okay, so I found some fun facts in a book. So let me go ahead and do some of the fun facts about Portugal. So Portugal is known as the oldest nation state in Europe. So it actually became a country in 1139. Another thing that I found out was that it is the world's largest producer of cork. So it produces over half of the world's supply. So that's pretty cool. The national drink is port wine. I liked this one. This one says Lisbon's, which is, I think, the capital of Portugal. And they have in that capital, they have the world's oldest bookstore. So that's pretty neat. Maybe one day if we go there, we can check out the bookstore. This also says that bullfighting is illegal, and it had been illegal since the 18th century. So, let's see. So the culture of Portugal has Roman, Germanic, and Islamic influences. That is pretty much like some things about Portugal. And so the moment we've been waiting for is I have found a book that I am interested in, and this is by Jose Saramago, and this is called The Stone Raft. I am very curious. I saw a lot of his other books here too, but this one I know my library has it, so I'm gonna check this one out. But some of his other books look pretty interesting for me as well. So hopefully he is an author that I can add to my list of checking out like other things. So I will get started after I kind of freshen up for the day. Then I will take you along for the day. So I will catch you guys in another segment. Okay, so I am all ready for the day, and I tried to look up this book on Hoopla, and apparently it's not available. Actually, I couldn't even find the book. On the website, my library says this book was on Hoopla, but when I got on Hoopla, I couldn't find the book at all. So I ended up just searching another novel by the same author, and this one I thought was intriguing, and this is called The Elephant's Journey. And it has a 3.68 rating on Goodreads. It also won a Nobel Prize. So we shall see. But let me go ahead and read you the synopsis. So it says, in 1551, King Geo III of Portugal gave Archduke Maximilian an unusual wedding present, an elephant named Solomon. The elephant's journey from Lisbon to Vienna has witnessed and remarked upon by scholars, historians, and ordinary people. Out of this material, Jose Saramago has spun a novel already heralded as a triumph of language, imagination, and humor. So I guess this is based off of a true story. I don't know. It says Solomon and his keeper Subro began in dismal conditions, forgotten in a corner of the palace grounds. When it occurs to the king and queen that an elephant would be an appropriate wedding gift, everyone rushes to get them ready. Subro is given 2 new suits of clothes, and Solomon a long overdue scrub. Accompanied by the Archduke, his new wife, and the royal guard, our unlikely heroes traverse a continent riven by the Reformation and civil wars. They make their way through the storied cities of northern Italy, Genoa, Piacenza, Mantua, Verona, Venice, and Trento, where the Council of Trent is in session. They brave the Alps and the terrifying Isarco and Bernier passes. They sail across the Mediterranean Sea and up the Inn River. Elephants, it turns out, are natural sailors. At last they make their grand entry into the imperial city. The elephant's journey is a delightful, witty tale of friendship and adventure. So it is classified as Portugal literature, classics, and it sounds like this is kind of going through the whole, like, a whole variety of countries. But it counts because the author is Portuguese and it has some settings in Portugal. So I am eager to read this one. But yeah, so, okay, I just wanted to pop in and let you know about that before I actually read the book. So I will come in and tell you my thoughts. Enjoying this Portuguese type of music. I am listening to the Spotify playlist that has classic Portuguese music, and I really am enjoying it. Most of the songs are upbeat and very like fun dancing songs. I danced with my nephew. I put it on, and he's just a little toddler, and so we were dancing to the beat and everything, and it was lots of fun, and I am currently listening to it right now as I am getting things done around the house. So that's fun. Okay, so now we come to the point where I'm going to talk about the book a little bit, and I think I'm at 11%. I'm not really sure, but I am reading this book on ebook through Hoopla. And the book, it is not my favorite type of format for an ebook. Actually, it is a very confusing book to read. And I'm not sure if this is wrong through the Hoopla app or maybe how it was translated. It was something went wrong, but essentially what happened is that as you're reading, there's no quotations. quotation marks to tell when a person is saying something, nor italicized if a person is thinking something or whatnot. It's all like one kind of written way, and there's no distinction between who said what or what thoughts are being conveyed or what's the actual like narration part. So that's really confusing for me, and I am finding that it is hard to kind of get into the story and connect with the story because I'm constantly kind of going back, rereading sentences. The humor also, I think, is a bit lost on me, and I don't know if that is because it's not my type of humor or I just don't get the humor. Yeah, I wouldn't say this is a very funny book. I mean, there are some parts where I could tell that, oh, they're trying to be funny, but to me, it's not as funny. That's kind of where I'm at, my first impressions of this book. I think it's a really interesting premise. You have this queen and king who are deciding what gift to give the king's cousin, and they remember they have this elephant. His name is Solomon. And at first, the king is like, that's an unusual gift to give my cousin. And the queen is more kind of pushing him to give this elephant up because, in her mind, the elephant is just a stinky, kind of tiresome creature, I guess. Very bothersome, even though they forgot they had him. And so, anyway, she persuades him to get rid of him. But as the elephant is on his journey, on his journey to the cousin, because the cousin lives far away, so he's got to go on this long journey. All of a sudden, the queen wants the elephant back, and so it's unusual. But the elephant's already gone. So anyway, I could tell that there could possibly be some problematic elements in how certain things are described. There is this Indian guide, and they don't always say the nice things about him, but there are also some words I had to look up, whether that it was the word choice where I did had to look it up, or it was like something dealing with the Catholic religion, so I have to look up some things. So, but other than that, like I said, I can understand what is going on. So we're at the point where they're at the beginning of the journey. I do plan on continuing to read this this evening, but we are going to a birthday party. It is an outside party, and they're going to have a projector. We're going to watch Freaky Friday, I think Lindsay Lohan's version. So that, I haven't seen that movie in forever, but we won't stay the whole time. So that is the plan, and I think I could get to maybe 30% of the book. I will see you guys in another clip.
Snow? Bro, that's how I learned how to. Bro, I can drive in the snow good. It doesn't bother me driving in the snow because of Kansas. And it was dirt roads, brick, regular roads.
Good morning. It is September 14th, so Saturday. And again, I am not ready for the day, but I wanted to give you a update of the book. But before we do that, I do want to do that devotion time with you guys. And so I already did my own private devotion, but I'm going to read today's verse. And we're in Psalm 5 if you want to follow along. It's a prayer for guidance. To the chief musician with flutes, a psalm of David. Give ear to my words, O Lord. Consider my meditation. Give heed to the voice of my cry, my King and my God. For to you I will pray. My voice you shall hear in the morning, O Lord. In the morning I will direct it to you, and I will look up. For you are not a God who takes pleasure in wickedness, nor shall evil dwell with you. The boastful shall not stand in your sight. You hate all workers of iniquity. You shall destroy those who speak falsehood. The Lord abhors the bloodthirsty and deceitful man. But as for me, I will come into your house in the multitude of your mercy. In fear of you, I will worship towards your holy temple. Lead me, O Lord, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before my face. For there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is destruction. Their throat is an open tomb. They flatter with their tongue. Pronounce them guilty, O God. Let them fall by their own counsels. Cast them out in the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against you. But let all those rejoice who put their trust in you. Let them ever shout for joy, because you defend them. Let those who love your name be joyful in you. For you, O Lord, will bless the righteousness. With favor you will surround him as with a shield. So I hope that encourages you today. It did encourage me to write a prayer this morning. So sometimes when I do my devotionals, if I don't have any like words I'm looking up or anything that I'm writing to on the side, sometimes I'll just write a prayer. And so this is a prayer to God for guidance. Yesterday, I know I talked about Psalm 4 and how that spoke to me and my husband because we were actually in a very low place yesterday. And I just want to say a little praise report here. No later after I, filmed that segment, about an hour later as I was reading and getting on with my day, my aunt messaged me and said something very encouraging, and then we had like this God moment, and it proves that yes, he is faithful. It was he provides, and it was really cool to just be encouraged in that way. And so I got to share that with my husband and encouraged him. So God works in great ways. It's amazing how sometimes when you're in your lowest moments and you have that surrender and that faith, and then he answers, or your eyes are open to see his answers. And yeah, it's just what we needed in the moment, and he knew. So yeah, all right. So I'm hoping that this encouraged you a little more today. So let's go ahead and talk about the elephant's journey. And I am, I think, 25% or 30% in the book. I'm struggling with this book, y'all. It's just, the way it's written. And I feel like there are some parts of the book could be problematic, but I can't really tell if it's just supposed to be funny, which I don't think it's really funny. Right now, I mean, they're going through different villages, and different villages are responding differently to this elephant. And you have the Indian guide who takes care of the elephant. I think it's called a maut. I don't really know how to pronounce it, but he has a special name. But his name is Subro or something, and he is telling them about the Hindu religion in India. That part's interesting, all of that. And so then you have the Europeans who are Catholic, and like the commanding officer, and he's like having this conversation. They're in a village, and these villagers overhear about the Hindu god with the elephant ear. They are concerned because they think this elephant is possibly God, and so they go to the priest, and the priest talks to them. I'm sorry that I'm not giving a very good explanation about this. Right now my brain's going all over the place, and so I'm just kind of trekking through the book right now. So this weekend, some of the plans have shifted. Today I am gonna head out to help my husband with that yard that we help maintain every 2 weeks. So I will do that. And then afterwards, I will be making sure that our spare room is ready to receive guests. And they are coming in from out of town. So I got to get that spare room ready. And they will be coming in around 4 o'clock today. So we'll see if I can get this book done today. And hopefully get to pull a slip tomorrow before church. Okay, I need to head out, and I will see you guys when I have a little bit more to share about this book. Okay, good morning. It is Sunday, September the 15th, and there's a lot happening today. So I just wanted to pop in and to read today's devotional. I'm reading from Psalms, chapter 6 today. This says, Psalm 6, to the chief musician with stringed instruments on an 8-string harp, a psalm of David. O Lord, do not rebuke me in your anger, nor chasten me in your hot displeasure. Have mercy on me, O Lord, for I am weak. O Lord, heal me, for my bones are troubled. My soul also is greatly troubled. But you, O Lord, how long? Return, O Lord, deliver me. O save me for your mercy's sake. For in death there is no remembrance of you. In the grave who will give you thanks? I am weary with my groaning. All night I make my bed swim. I drench my couch with my tears. My eye wastes away because of grief. It grows old because of all my enemies. Depart from me, all you workers of iniquity. For the Lord has heard the voice of my weeping. The Lord has heard my supplication. The Lord will receive my prayer. Let all my enemies be ashamed and greatly troubled. Let them turn back and be ashamed suddenly. So, a prayer of distress, essentially. But I definitely wrote in my journal today about the verse 6 and 7 where it talks about David just crying out to God. And I've been in that place to where sometimes I'd cry myself to sleep. And so I wrote like a little bit about that. And the hope is in the end of that passage. And I wanted to encourage someone out there who is dealing with grief, who is dealing with a situation where they are just distressed, and just wanted to encourage that the Lord is there, He is listening. And the end of that passage where David says, the Lord will receive my prayer. So the Lord has heard my supplication. The Lord will receive my prayer. And so the Lord will receive your prayer. And He is there. He has not left you. He has not forsaken you. And He is there with you. And so whatever you're going through, whatever your grief is, whatever you are waiting on, know that He is with you and that you can trust in Him. So I hope that encourages you. I wanted to put in this segment before I got really busy with today. But I am going to catch you up on the reading and everything after church. I got a message this morning from my pastor's wife that she won't be in service today because she's not feeling well. And she asked me to direct the choir song. So I have to get there. I have to get to service a little early. I told her I could do it. I do need to practice. So yeah. And that's why I'm kind of putting this segment early. But I will come back later today and I'll just kind of run you in on the rest of the day. But yeah. All right. I'm gonna head off to breakfast, put on my lipstick, and then head out the door. I will talk to you guys after service. It is 4:07 and I finally completed the book. Yeah, this one was just not for me, guys. The whole ending of the story even felt a little flat, and it was just not my type of humor. It was just a miss. So I'll always give my rating at the end of the month when I kind of think about it, but it's probably gonna get a low rating anyway. That was Portugal, and now I want to pick another one before I have to start helping to cook for this evening. So let's go ahead and see the second part of our journey. Let's do this one. All right. Oh, this Paraguay. Okay, I think I'm saying that right, but it's Paraguay, which we are back in South America. So I will be back, and I will be back with also facts about the country. All right, I am back, and I have some facts about Paraguay. So, first fact that I found that was pretty interesting is that Paraguay is landlocked, but has a large navy, which is very interesting because you would think you would need to be surrounded by water to have a navy, or at least some sort of coast to have a navy, but apparently it's pretty large, and yeah, that's pretty unique. The next thing I found was that it was the first country in South America to have a railroad, so that's pretty cool. Another interesting fact was that Paraguay has lost up to half the men in its history. So it was during a war that happened, and one of the consequences was nearly up to half the male population was had perished during the conflict. So yeah, it's kind of sad, actually. It has a two-sided flag. So one side has the national coat of arms, and the other side has the words Republic of Paraguay, and both sides share the same horizontal tricolor pattern of red and white. Anyway, Paraguay is also a major exporter of soybeans. So pretty interesting country. I went to look up some books, and I actually found a book that I really do want to read, but it is a children's book, but this time I'm going to read it in English. But this is called Ada's Violin, the story of the recycled orchestra of Paraguay. And this one I really thought was interesting. It's about a girl named Ada who grows up in a small town in Paraguay that's built on a landfill, and she wants to play the violin, but she can't afford it. And there's a music teacher. He wants to teach the children, and so he ends up recycling, I guess, recycling from this landfill and creates an orchestra. So I really do want to read that. Anyway, I tried to find another children's book online that was set in Paraguay. As of now, I could not find it on Goodreads, but I am going to see if my library has another one in the children's section, just so I could have at least 2 books. But yeah, I'm just happy that I found this one. This one's a 4.38 on Goodreads, so pretty high rating, and I'm actually really excited about this one, especially after that last read. I was hoping to get something that I would enjoy. So it is almost 5, so we are definitely a little behind schedule, but we are going to go and make enchiladas, and then our guests will start arriving around 6. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay, good morning. It is Monday, September the 16th. Our guests will be leaving today, so I'll be back in the other room. So I'm trying to keep it down. I think they're still asleep, and I just don't want to be so loud. These walls can be very thin. So I do want to read what my devotion this morning to you. And so if you by now are following along, we're reading from Psalm 7. And this is a meditation of David, which he sang to the Lord concerning the words of Cush, a Benjamite. O Lord, my God, in you I put my trust. Save me from all those who persecute me, and deliver me, lest they tear me like a lion, rending me in pieces, while there is none to deliver. O Lord, my God, if I have done this, if there is iniquity in my hands, if I have repaid evil to him who is at peace with me, or have plundered my enemy without cause, let the enemy pursue me and overtake me. Yes, let him trample my life to the earth and lay my honor in the dust. Selah. Arise, O Lord, in your anger. Lift yourself up because of the rage of my enemies. Rise up for me to the judgment you have commanded. So the congregation of the peoples shall surround you. For their sakes, therefore, return on high. The Lord shall judge the peoples. Judge me, O Lord, according to my righteousness, and according to my integrity within me. O let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just. For the righteous God tests the hearts and minds. My defense is of God, who saves the upright in heart. God is a just judge, and God is angry with the wicked every day. If he does not turn back, he will sharpen his sword. He bends his bow and makes it ready. He also prepares for himself instruments of death. He makes his arrows into fiery shafts. Behold, the wicked brings forth iniquity. Yes, he conceives trouble and brings forth falsehood. He made a pit and dug it out, and has fallen into the ditch which he made. His trouble shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealing shall come down on his own crown. I will praise the Lord according to his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of the Lord Most High. So that was another prayer and praise. It says prayer and praise for deliverance from enemies. And yeah, that was a lot to take in, but essentially, we see David here who is again in distress about his enemies, and he's calling out to God to save him and deliver him from his persecutors. But then he mentions if he has done anything that deserves it, like if I have repaid evil to him who is at peace with me, so basically betrayed a friend, or have plundered his enemy without cause, then let the Lord deal with him. And then we get that interlude, and then he goes and tells the Lord to rise up against his enemies, and that David says that he is innocent, and that basically the wicked they're going to get what they deserve, and how they persecute others, it's basically going to come back around to them. And the last line we see is David praising the Lord. So he was known as a man after God's own heart. He knows that he can call out to the Lord, but he also remembers to praise the Lord in his time of distress and sing praises, even though he is struggling, whether he's afraid or angry or sad or happy. He's always calling out to God and like praising him, knowing that he can put his trust in him. So yeah, hopefully that's encouraging. Sometimes the Psalms can get a little redundant, at least for me sometimes, but taking it apart, like the verses, and kind of having that reminder of no matter what emotion you're going through, and whether you find yourself in the same circumstance, predicament, you still can reach out to the Lord and trust in him. So David does make a really good example of that. And yeah. Anyway, I can tell I am really tired. All right, I'm going to go get ready for the day. So I will catch you guys in another segment. Okay, so I am back from the library. I did show you a little bit about the book, and I tried finding another book so that way I can read both of them. But yeah, there's just not a lot of books that deal with Paraguay. Now, there were books where they had like South America, and there was like each chapter was like a different chapter about the different countries in South America, at least the ones that I found for children's books. But the other books, like adult books and stuff, were a lot of like travel stuff. So I just decided, you know what, don't sweat, I'll just read this children's book and we'll just kind of end the vlog from there. So the art of the book was pretty busy for me, but it was beautiful in that when you looked at it, there was different like hidden things in there. Like there was music papers, or they would have like hidden like different bands in the type of art. Sweet story. At the end, it told you a little bit more about this orchestra, and again, it was a teacher who made a difference. He comes to this town, which is basically a slum, and it kind of gives me like the rent collectors vibes, because you know, it talks about the people who are picking trash to recycle it and get paid for it. And so you have this guy who comes and wants to make a difference, and he likes music, so he offers music lessons to these children. Ada is one of the children there, and she learns violin, but he doesn't have enough instruments for the kids, and instruments, like really nice instruments, are very expensive, and he wants them to practice at home. So he decides to recycle garbage, but with the help of this other guy, they create really nice sounding instruments out of garbage, and they get creative with it. This group of musicians are actually performing in towns. They get invited by other bands, travel the world, and it's a true story. So there's a picture of them right there, and I thought that was very neat. I love it when teachers make a difference. So I would recommend this book for young children who want that inspirational story, or you want to know a little bit of history about this place in Paraguay. But yeah, I had a good time with it. So yeah, that is the end. This is going to be my outro for this vlog. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye.